Millionaire followed his housekeeper after work, and what he discovered changed his life. 7 to 15 a.m., punctual as always. The back door creaked open, and there she was. Marina. Faded jeans, a light-colored blouse, hair pulled back in a ponytail by an already stretched elastic. Her white sneakers hadn't been white in a long time. She came in without saying a word, as she did every day. Light steps, almost silent. The first thing she did was hang her bag on the same hook by the laundry room. The second, wash her hands. The third, start wiping down the kitchen counter, exactly in the same order as always. Roberto Mendez watched the scene on his phone's security camera. It had become a recent habit. A habit he didn't even understand himself. Why watch someone so predictable? Maybe because Marina was the only constant in his house. Everything else, meetings, mergers, figures, was noise. Marina was silence, and yet it bothered him. She never asked for anything, never made mistakes, never ran late. 2 years like that, not one slip, no excuses. She was the perfect employee, and that's exactly what made Roberto frown. Two perfect people are hiding something. That morning, he decided to watch her in person. He slipped silently down the stairs, cracked open the kitchen door, and saw Marina from behind, methodically cleaning the cabinets. Her posture was unnaturally straight, shoulders tense, like she was carrying weight you couldn't see. "Good morning, Marina." She turned quickly, surprised. Then she smiled, that neutral smile. It didn't say, "Good morning," it said, "Thank you for keeping your distance." "Good morning, Mr. Mendez. Coffee?" "I already had some. Want to sit for a bit?" "No, thank you. I haven't finished the kitchen yet." Polite, cordial, impenetrable. Roberto tried again. "Want to join us for lunch today? I made lasagna last night. There's plenty left." She hesitated for half a second, but she smiled the same. "That's very kind, but it's not necessary, Mr. Mendez." He almost laughed. It was always like that. Always that it's not necessary. Marina worked as if she were trying to disappear. Like every washed dish was a shield. Like every folded sheet hid a secret. And it was that secret buzzing between them, silent but ever present, until it happened. Roberto was in his office when he heard a dull thud. He ran across the room. There was Marina, on the floor, fainted, a dish towel still clutched in her hand. He knelt beside her, alarmed. "Marina! Marina!" She opened her eyes slowly, tried to sit up. "No, please don't call anyone." Her words were weak, slurred, and then she cried, softly, ashamedly. "I'm sorry, Mr. Mendez. I'm okay. It was just a moment." But she wasn't okay. Her face said otherwise, her eyes pleaded. In that moment, Roberto realized this wasn't weakness. It was exhaustion, despair hiding behind discipline. Marina trembled, tried to force a smile, and Roberto knew something was very, very wrong. For the first time, he felt something different, an urgency, a need to tear down that distance, and for the first time, he decided to follow Marina. Roberto Mendez didn't usually follow anyone. He actually hated losing control. But that afternoon he waited, pretended to make a call until he saw Marina slip out the back, just like always. Backpack slung over her shoulder, quick steps, never looking back. He got in his car, alone, kept his distance, like someone chasing an answer. Marina moved as though counting every second. She boarded a ramshackle bus. Roberto followed by car. He watched her get off 15 stops later in a neighborhood he'd never needed to visit. She walked into a public hospital. Roberto parked, got out, and watched from afar. Marina breezed past reception, confident as someone who already knew every hall. She climbed the stairs. He waited, counted to 10. Then he went up 2. 4th floor. Pediatrics, his heart pounded. He walked slowly and stopped at a half-open door. Inside was a small bed, and on it, a little girl. Bald, fragile, but with eyes so bright they lit up the whole room. Marina stood beside her, smiling for real for the first time, holding a drawing pad, and the girl spoke excitedly. "Look, Mom, I drew the three of us at the park. Me, you, and a dog." Marina giggled softly. "But we don't even have a dog, Sophia." "But we could. When I get better, we'll adopt one. A big one that chases pigeons." Roberto stepped back. The girl's name echoed in his mind. Sophia. The pieces fell into place. The refusals. The "it's not necessary." The bag clutched close. The exhausted body. Marina wasn't cold. She was a mother trying to save her daughter with the little she had. And losing. Roberto left in a daze, made it back to his car without remembering how. Sophia's face burned into his memory. That child. Something inside him shattered, an old shard of glass. A name cut through him like a knife. Enrique. The son he lost to the same disease, leukemia. He got home, didn't speak to anyone, sat on the couch, and cried. For another person's daughter, for the son he never could save. The next morning he waited for Marina in the kitchen. When she came in, surprised to see him so early, he got straight to the point. "I know about Sophia." The world froze for a second. Marina went pale. The dish towel slipped from her hand. "No, you, please. I saw yesterday. I followed you and I saw." She sat down, didn't cry, but looked smaller, as if she'd taken a blow she'd been bracing for years. I didn't want to lose this job. I had to seem strong." "You are strong, Marina, but you don't have to seem perfect to deserve help." She shook her head. Tears finally fell. "I don't want charity." Roberto looked at her, his voice breaking. "This isn't charity, it's redemption." Marina looked at him, truly looked for the first time, and the silence between them was no longer a wall. It was shared grief. "If Sophia finds out someone helped us, she'll think I failed her, and I need her to believe her mother won." Roberto took a deep breath. "Then here's what we'll do. She'll never know. She'll think it was you, only you." Marina cried, not from sadness, but relief, shame, everything at once. That morning, with no contract, no signed promise, no witnesses, they made a pact to save Sophia and to make her believe it was her mother's strength alone. It was strange at first. Marina still showed up at 7:15 a.m. like always. Same bag, same silent steps. But now, Roberto was awake, waiting. Not for the routine, but for the chance to watch her without having to hide. He could see the exhaustion, the way she gripped that dish towel like a shield, how she swallowed hard whenever the word hospital came up. The first week after their pact, she avoided any conversation. She only thanked him once. No words, just a quick glance, almost an apology for accepting help. In the second week, Sophia ran a high fever. Marina called in a panic. Roberto was stuck in a meeting. He slipped out without explanation. He stayed with them in the hospital until the fever broke. He brought broth, stories, and an old cartoon Enrique used to love. Sophia laughed a lot. And Roberto laughed too, for the first time in years. When Marina slipped away to take a shower, he was left alone with the little girl. Sophia leaned in, curious. "Are you Mommy's secret friend?" Roberto almost choked on his juice. "What do you mean?" "She said a really nice friend is helping us. That we're going to beat this because there are good people in the world, even if we don't see them." He smiled. "Well, I guess that's me then." "That's great, because Mom smiles different now, even when she's tired." Later, in the parking lot, Marina emerged with wet hair and a clean face, and an expression he'd never seen before, gratitude without fear. "Thank you, Mr. Mendez. Call me Roberto." She hesitated, then said for the first time, "Thank you, Roberto." Silence hung between them. Then she climbed into the passenger seat and just sat there for minutes, breathing. He didn't move. He just waited. Then she spoke. "Sophia's father left us when she was 2 months old. Said he didn't want to be a dad. Then he was gone. No calls, no support, nothing. Roberto didn't ask anything, but she pressed on. I raised her alone, cleaning houses, selling stuff on the street, sleeping in shelters. Then I got this job, and I thought things would get better. Until the diagnosis." She stared straight ahead. "When they told me it was leukemia, I thought I'd die with her. But I couldn't. So I just kept living." He looked at her carefully. That invisible woman now had a name, a story, real pain. And he saw her, not just as an employee, but as a mother at war. Roberto took a deep breath, voice thick. "I lost someone to this disease too. My son, Enrique. He was 8. Marina slowly turned toward him. "I'm so sorry. Me too. But now, maybe I can do things differently." They stayed in the dark parking lot, 2 survivors from different storms, united by a little girl who still had a chance. By the end of that night, Roberto made a decision. It wasn't enough to cover Sophia's treatment costs. He would make sure she lived, and that Marina would never have to fight alone again. The clinic was too white, too cold, way too expensive. And that's exactly why Marina nearly fainted again, this time from shame. When she arrived with Sophia at the new hospital, one of the best in the country, she felt everyone staring at her scuffed sneakers and worn jeans. She felt their judgment, even when no one said a word. But Sophia was thrilled. "Mom, is this the place? It looks like a hotel." Marina smiled. Just for her. The doctor greeted them personally, explained the new protocol, imported meds, a full multidisciplinary team, everything covered. Marina swallowed hard and just said thank you. Didn't ask the price, didn't ask how. She already knew Roberto would do it right, or not at all. Sophia started responding to the new treatment. Sure, she had bad days, but she ate again. She laughed again. And that was enough. Roberto began visiting every week. Sometimes he brought books, other times Enrique's old drawings. Gradually, Marina let her guard down. She started laughing at his jokes, sharing bits of her story, and listening to his. In Roberto's kitchen, the table was set for 3. He cooked dinners when he could. Marina helped, even though she didn't have to. Sophia ate with a smile. They looked like a family, though no one ever said it out loud. Then came the relapse. Fever, vomiting, fainting. Sophia was rushed back to the hospital. Marina burst in, clutching her daughter. Roberto arrived minutes later. The doctor was blunt. An infection, a complication of a weakened immune system. Marina panicked, praying out loud in the waiting room, shaking. Roberto held her. "She's going to be okay." "What if she's not? I can't lose her." Tears fell as if the floor had vanished beneath her. "I accepted your help, and even so, I could still lose her." Roberto cupped her face, steady but calm. "You won't, because now she has a chance, and she has you. That changes everything." Marina closed her eyes and leaned on him. It was the first time she let someone hold her without apologizing. Hours later, the doctor returned. Sophia was responding. She'd made it through the worst. Roberto looked up at the ceiling. He wasn't religious, but there, among the beeps of monitors and Marina's gentle breathing, he made a promise. If Sophia lived, he would devote the rest of his life to her. In that moment, he knew this was the second chance he never got with Enrique, and he wasn't going to waste it. Sophia survived the infection. The doctor said it was a good sign. Her body held strong. That meant the treatment was working. Marina slept 3 nights in a row beside her daughter's bed, in an uncomfortable armchair with a thin blanket. Roberto spent every night there too, out in the hallway, quietly with a thermos of coffee and a book he only pretended to read. On the fourth morning, Marina slipped out of the room to take a shower. When she came back, she found a small note by Sophia's bed. "Not luck. Because you're strong. Mom." Roberto smiled when he saw her expression. "She's going to keep this note forever." Marina nodded. "Because it's true." That week, something changed. They began to talk about what they'd been avoiding. Marina told him about the day she got the diagnosis, how the doctor said leukemia like it was just another word, the silence on the ride home, the panic of not knowing where to even start. Roberto shared about Henrique, those afternoons in the hospital, the toys that lost their joy, the day Henrique looked up and asked, "Dad, am I going to die?" Marina squeezed his hand. Neither of them needed to say anything more. After that day, Roberto made an offer. "I want to build something, a project, an institute in Henrique's name and in Sofia's name, to help kids like them." Marina swallowed hard. I don't know how to do that." "You do. You know how to care. You know how to fight. That's exactly what we need." She was quiet a moment, then nodded. "All right, but only if it really helps. I'm in." They began to dream up the Henrique and Sofia Institute. Marina filled old notebooks with ideas. Roberto called specialists. They lined up nurses, psychologists, teachers, everything planned down to the smallest detail with the same care Marina once put into folding sheets. Now it was for something far bigger. Even though she was still weak, Sofia got excited. "Will there be a playroom and a lab with little white coats?" "There will," Roberto promised. "All that and more." In the final scene of the chapter, Marina receives an envelope. It holds the result of an important test. She doesn't want to open it. Her hands tremble. Sofia grips her wrist. "Go ahead, Mom. We can handle it." Roberto stands nearby. Marina opens it, reads, takes a deep breath. Silence. Then she smiles, tentative, full of fear and faith at once. "The doctor wants to see us tomorrow. He said it's about the next phase of treatment." The chapter ends there, in suspense, breath held, with hope teetering on the edge of doubt. The exam room is small, lit by a window looking out onto nothing but a white wall. But inside, Marina feels as if the whole world is squeezed into her chest. The doctor sits. He lays the folder on the table gently, his face calm, knowing the right words can change a life. "Marina, Sofia is in complete remission." Silence. Marina doesn't grasp it at first. "That means that the treatment worked. There are no signs of disease in her body. It's too soon to say she's definitively cured, but you've cleared this phase with honors." She doesn't react at first, frozen for a second. Then she collapses to her knees, crying with her whole body. It's not a pretty cry. It's ugly, choked, desperate, like someone sprung free from a prison without warning. Sofia runs to her and hugs her. "Mom, did we do it?" "You did it, sweetheart. You did it." Roberto, leaning against the wall, closes his eyes and weeps too. When they leave the hospital, Sofia races down the corridor with her arms outstretched like she's about to fly, shouting, "I'm cured," to anyone who'll listen. And everyone smiles, because there's no truer joy than a child coming back to life. In the days that follow, Roberto's house becomes everybody's home. The table is always set for 3. Marina laughs without fear. Sofia blasts music and dances with a scarf on her head like a superhero. And Roberto, he just watches, storing every moment in his heart, like a father. The Henrique and Sofia Institute opens with a simple but moving ceremony. Families with children in treatment are there, along with doctors and nurses, kids with IV lines, smiles and drawings in their hands. Marina gives the opening speech. Her voice trembles, but she speaks from the heart. "I'm not a doctor or a social worker. I'm just a mother who was afraid and then received help. Now I want other moms to know you are not alone. There's applause, tears, hope. Roberto watches from the back. When he looks up at the sky, for the first time in many years, he smiles without pain. He failed Enrique, but now he's doing something his son would be proud of. At the end of the chapter, Sophia plants a daisy seedling in the new garden by the house. "These are my favorite flowers, Mom," she says, "because they bloom again after the cold." Marina hugs her from behind, and Roberto, watching them, whispers softly, "Thank you, Enrique, for showing me the way." The chapel was small, quiet, decorated with simple vases of white and yellow daisies. It was Sophia's choice. She wanted something pretty but happy. There, in front of just a handful of witnesses, doctors, hospital friends, a few kids from the institute, Marina and Roberto got married. Sophia walked down the aisle first, carrying a bouquet she'd made herself. She laughed nervously, tripped over the rug, but never let go of those flowers. Marina followed, moving slowly toward the altar in a light dress. Nothing expensive, nothing flashy, but full of meaning. Sophia had sketched the design. Roberto waited with tears in his eyes. When he saw her, all he could think was, "How did I ever live without this?" During their vows, Marina didn't say much, but said exactly what mattered. "I thank you for not saving me, but for believing I could save myself, and save Sophia too." His voice shook as he answered, "I thought I'd lost my chance to be a father, but you gave that back to me. You gave me purpose." At the end, Sophia ran forward and threw herself between them, giggling. "Now, are we a real family?" "We always have been," Marina replied. Life went on. Their new house had a garden. Sophia lined up daisies and named each one after a child at the institute. She said that way no flower would ever die forgotten. Marina took the reins of the project with both strength and compassion, helping frantic mothers, organizing donations, recruiting new doctors. Roberto became the public face of the institute. But behind the scenes, he was the guy who sat on the floor playing Uno with the kids, the one who laughed, listened, and remembered Enrique without guilt, just longing. One late afternoon, Sophia ran out to the garden and called, "Daddy, come see!" He went out and found her sitting among the daisies, the breeze shaking their petals. She closed her eyes. "Listen, it sounds like they're talking." Roberto knelt beside her and stayed silent. Then, as if the whole world stopped, he felt it. A voice from inside, a living memory. "You did it, Dad. She's going to live. Enrique." Roberto smiled. He cried. Then he laughed again. Because in that garden, among roots and petals, pain and miracles, life had been reborn. And now nothing would ever be lost again. Sometimes all a mother needs is a chance. Sometimes all a man needs is a reason. And sometimes life springs up where nobody expected anymore, with faith, with love, and with daisies.